Looking for a school that provides a solid foundation for your little one? 𝗨𝗏𝗕 Christian School is now admitting children from 2 to 6 years old from January 2026. At 𝗨𝗏𝗕 Christian School, we understand that every child is unique. Our qualified and experienced teachers ensure that each child gets the personalized attention they need. Our beautiful classrooms are designed to stimulate learning and spark curiosity, offering a rich environment that caters to every child's developmental stage. And we provide balanced meals, snacks, and lunch to keep your little one healthy and energized throughout the day. With a Christian approach, we focus on the holistic growth of every child. Give your child the start of a strong start in life with a school that truly cares. Enroll today. Don't miss this opportunity to give your child the best start. Visit us off Kasarani Mweki Road or call us now at +254 758 396 110. 𝗨𝗏𝗕 Christian School, a foundation for the future.
Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Digest Show. What a joy to be able to have you join us from wherever you're watching us from. You're highly welcome. I'm your host today, Reverend Albert Shitakwa. I should say Happy New Year because this is my first time here in 2026. I want to appreciate my co-host 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗏 𝗪𝗏𝗏 for a good job that he continues to do even as we partner together in this show. And so he started us off in the new year, and today I just come in to be able to support what he's doing with this particular show. And so you're welcome. I want to continue with the conversation that had begun earlier. I think I began it, then Apostle 𝗪𝗏𝗏 took it up, and he's passed the baton to me to continue with the same conversation that we want to have on challenges that affect the urban church. And so we are going to be discussing around that, and I believe it's going to be an interesting, wonderful conversation. And I am honored to have the one and only Pastor Zach Wangi from Arise Church. We have had this conversation with him. He's been with 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗏 with this conversation, and we want to continue with the same with him. What a delight and a joy to have you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Albert. A
Karibu.
great honor for me to be here.
Karibu sana.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know this is a conversation we started late last year somewhere,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then picked up this year with 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗏, and we want to just continue on the same conversation around this time. And so I would for the benefit of those who have not been there during the conversation,
Yes.
what are some of the key highlights on the challenges that we discussed earlier?
Wow, thank you so much. Yes, we've been discussing on the subject of urban church leadership and some of the dynamics and the challenges that we face. I think we did start off by saying the urban context has its own dynamics.
Yes.
And one of the issues we raised is the issue of urban planning or the lack thereof. Unlike in the past where there was zoning for churches, we don't have that anymore. It means churches have to compete with commercial entities to get spaces.
Yes.
So churches will find themselves in the pubs, squeeze themselves in the few social halls or schools or neighborhoods and what have you. And that comes with its own dynamics, because you find yourself, you're trying to be a blessing to the community, but they'll also find you also a nuisance to them. They think you are too loud for us. And those are the challenges of many urban pastors. Many would attest to that. We also did highlight a few matters of urban ministry. We talked about, I think last time, especially Pastor Patrick, what we called the professionalization of what we thought was volunteer ministry. These days, hakuna kitu ya bure. Everyone is hustling in town. So gone are the days when the pastor would say, let's all go volunteer. The volunteer culture is dying in urban ministry. Today, if you want your band, so to say, your lead vocalist, your key people in the, the media person, the sound person. I know it's a big debate. We also discuss about it. Should we pay? Should we not pay? What are the dynamics? But that's a key issue, especially for upcoming churches, young ministries that are still trying to establish themselves. In the urban context, everyone views their time as I should be hustling to get pay some bills. So if I have to come to church, then I better be compensated for that time. So that's the mindset. But there are a lot of dynamics to that. But that's a reality. Those are some of the things we deal with. I think maybe last year the issue we highlighted mainly was the issue of transient membership. In the urban context, you discover that there is a lot of church hopping. People also do what we call spiritual shopping. So people are not just shopping in the malls, they're also doing spiritual shopping. I think we had a light note touch where we are saying it's the January transfer window. So there are a few pastors and a few members who may not return to camp.
If you don't see someone in January, you know that person is possibly...
If you miss them for 2 Sundays, don't think they are still up country. they are busy somewhere. It could be closed door. But I think that's a reality of urban ministry. And I think that's a bigger discussion that comes with different angles. The issues of transient membership, the issue of how do we handle transitions. And I think one of the things we highlighted last time to say a transition is both a test for the person leaving and the person staying. And how both handle it has its own implications and dynamics. I think those are some of the things we've been highlighting in the show. And I think we might still come back to some of this because they're a bit intertwined as we go ahead with the discussions.
I mean, it's interesting how, starting with the last one, the transient nature of church in the urban setting. I feel like urban churches, one of the biggest challenges that is there is the high turnover with every year. Sometimes you are pastoring a totally new congregation from the one you pastored a year, 2 years before.
Very true. Very true. And that poses what we call discipleship challenges. Because naturally in pastoral ministry, you want to have some milestones. You want to say we are starting here, this is where we are going, we've made progress in this area. Actually, it takes a while for people to really to be vulnerable and very transparent with your pastor and their leader. So by the time the members get accustomed and acquainted with you and you get acquainted with your members, naturally transitions will happen. Some planned, some not planned, some dynamics of life, realities of urban life. So it poses some challenges for me for the discipleship process, which should be progressive and which should build on a few milestones. So those are some of the realities that we have to deal with. But I think, as we said also, transitions come with its own dynamics. Sometimes
they are necessary
sometimes.
But just speaking into that, what's the, from the New Testament perspective, what is the ideal situation in terms of church membership?
It's interesting because even as we see the onset of the church, we see there are natural factors that causes the church to, so to say, disperse or to be scattered. I think it's in Acts 8 or there, we see the church being scattered because of persecution and what have you. So I can imagine those who had settled comfortably and said, we have bought land, we will establish ourselves. Then some natural occurrence come and they get scattered.
Yes.
We also see along the way there is different house churches and different dynamics of church in the context of the book of Acts. But we can draw some parallels even to the modern context today with our so to say, urban congregation. Ideally, the ideal situation would be that a family settles in a church setup where they can be there for a while. And I think that would be more in the more rural context where, people are not going anywhere. This is their family land, this is their central place, this is where they are established. But it's very hard to have an ideal context within the urban context. Very, very difficult. Because even if it were, it would be disjointed. People can be with you, they disappear for 5 years for study. If they are still meant to be together, they still come back. So the ideal is quite difficult to find, so to say, in terms of, say, I'm going to be with this member for 10, for 20 years. Those are very rare cases. Very rare cases. They are still there. There are people who get established where maybe the ministry is. Because also you could discover that where you launched or did your church plant may not be where a door opens for you to get a property or access land. So, and every movement comes with its own, every shift you lose, and there are people who don't transition with you. So as the church transitions, not everybody will transition with the church. So I would say it's quite a difficult, it's a rare occurrence that you get very few that will stick through the longer season with the church. But I think when all is said and done, we would say that God orders our seasons, God orders our steps. And I think also what would help for me, even from the perspective of a minister, is to have a kingdom mindset. Because what limits us is the denominational thinking. Denominations is like denominators. They denominate us. If I'm not with with this movement, I'm seen as an outsider.
I'm alienated.
Exactly. You are not really speaking our language. But I think what would help us as the body of Christ, in as much as would encourage stability, would encourage people to find the place where God would need them to be, because God is specific about location. If you look at the Bible, God is specific. He tells Jeremiah, go to the potter's house. He tells Elijah, go to the brook. He tells God is specific about location. He tells Abraham, come out of the Ur of the Chaldeans. So God is specific about locations and seasons. But I think let's also be open as ministers, as leaders, that we are building the kingdom. If transitions come which are necessary, I should be willing to facilitate it as a minister, even if I stand to lose. And I think what I've come to see for me, one, is once you have the mindset that it is God who builds the church, and I'm speaking as a past church, pastor leading a young ministry in the city. Once you have the mindset that it is God who builds the church, then the honors are not on you to always be worried about who's leaving and who's coming. You will do your part. You will do what you need to do. But you see, the Bible says Paul planted, Apollo watered, but God gave the increase. So if you're so worried about you are the one doing the increase, everyone who leaves, you will have sleepless nights. But when you understand, mine is to plant and to water.
You are simply a steward.
Exactly. So God will allow those he sends to you for a season. So for me, I think what would help in terms of church membership as a pastor is to adopt a kingdom mindset. That as long as what would worry you is when someone falls back in the faith and retrogresses to go back to the world. That's what should worry. And I think we see such case studies with Paul and some of his followers. He says that one fell back and went back to the world. But if somebody is still in the kingdom, we pray that God will walk with them and help them. They can be a blessing to another pastor as well in their new season. And I think we should be willing to release, if all things being equal. I say that because transitions has a lot of dynamics. All things being equal.
I normally say one of the greatest, big responsibilities of a minister is to receive and release. And when it comes to releasing, that's where the real problem.
Easier said than done.
It's easier said than done. But I think it's necessary with a kingdom mindset.
Definitely.
We should be able to be willing to release people because they are not ours.
Exactly.
They are God's.
Exactly.
And now, that's from the perspective of a minister. But from the perspective of a member, what would be your counsel to a member?
Okay. I think this is the bottom line for me. It's important to always establish the will of God. And I know the will of God sounds cliche. It sounds mystical, sometimes spooky. Everyone can wake up and say, God spoke to me.
Yes.
And the Reverend, if
And
God is speaking,
yeah, you can't challenge God.
who is going to challenge God? If I come to you, Reverend, and I say, release me,
Yeah.
God spoke to me. Who are you to challenge God? So that's what I'm saying. The will of God has its own, you know, they are very interesting aspect of that, because if a member wakes up and says God spoke to them, that has its own, you know, implications. But I would like to say this, that what is critical, if I'm a member of a congregation, God has put me there, I'm a leader or a member in whatever aspect, if seasons of transitions come, it's important to always establish, one, that it is God's will. That the rule of thumb for me is, you don't leave because there's chaos. You don't leave because there are problems. You see in the Bible, we see the family of Elimelech.
Yes.
There is famine. Let's run away from Bethlehem of Judah. Let's go to Moab. It's better in Moab. We see also Isaac in Genesis 26. There's famine. Let me go. God says, no, stay here.
Yes.
So for me, it is important to let God lead. And I know that can mean a lot of things to say God is leading me.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, someone should sit and say, I'm in the will of God. God is leading. I'm not going out of selfish interest. I'm not being driven. I'm not bitter. I'm not offended. Because those are, for me, the red flags. Never leave because of offense. Never leave in anger. I like this gentleman who is called, you know, Louis Edwin Core, who's written many books. And one of the things he says is that how you live is how you enter. How you live one season is how you enter the next season. Just like a relationship. If I leave a relationship bitter, then what I'll have is a rebound. I'll be quick to get another relationship to prove I was not the wrong guy. They were the problem. So the transition will be micro, it will be hesitant to prove a point. But when you're in the will of God, we see transitions that God does. Look at Elijah. The brook dries. It is God who speaks. Says, okay, the brook has dried. The season of the brook, the season of the raven is over. Now let's go to the season of the widow. The season of Zarephath. So that's how God leads. One door closes, one season closes, God orders the next step. There might be some waiting phase. There may be some transitional phases where someone needs to wait, like Abraham. Leave, then God along there will tell you where we are going. But I think as a member, as you say, one, don't leave because you have an issue with the man of God. Stay until you have sorted. Don't leave because you are wounded. Don't leave because you have offense.
In other words, don't burn bridges.
Exactly.
Don't build walls.
Exactly. And that's important. During transitions, maintain the bridges. Life has a way of going around. Life is I don't want to say cyclic, because that's not ideally what we believe. There are philosophers that advocate for that. But life has a way of taking us back to some place. So in life, don't burn the bridges. You see, when Lot left Abraham, he did not burn the bridges. Later, he needed Abraham to come and rescue him in his situation. So you might need rescue. If you burnt your bridges with Abraham, if you are Lot, when you leave Abraham, live peacefully, because you may need him to rescue you in the future. So as you say, don't leave because of wrong motivations. And this is a heart issue. For me, transitions is a heart issue. You can say one thing with your words, but what is in your heart? Ask yourself, what is genuinely causing me to transition? Is it God? Is it me orchestrating this? Because if you orchestrate it, you better be orchestrating it all the way.
So this is not something to rush through. You need to be very prayerfully, thoughtfully, and honest.
Exactly.
With
I think
yourself.
honesty is a thing. Take time if you need to. Don't rush it. Naturally, God has a way of letting it happen. God will show the sign. God will confirm with your leader. God will prepare your man of God. You will see the signs will be there. And it will be smooth. I know transitions are never easy because they have their own challenges. But at least you will know you're in the will of God. Because the Bible says what? You shall go forth in joy, the book of Isaiah, and you shall be led forth in peace. So when all is said and done, you have your indicators. Joy and peace.
All right. So, just one more before we move to something else.
Yes.
Is it convenience or conviction?
Ideally, it should be conviction. Because sometimes it's never convenient. It's never convenient. If you look at the transitions of life, let's look even the birth.
Yeah.
Look at the stages of life. If a child needs to be born,
Yeah.
the transition from the womb to the world
Yeah.
is a crisis.
Yeah.
Many transitions happen through crisis. Crisis precipitates many transitions. If you look at a child who needs to transition from childhood to teenagehood, that's the most turbulent phase.
Yes.
Many parents would say, who
Yes.
are parents of teenagers, they would
Yes.
say the most turbulent phase is when there is a transition from childhood to
Teenage.
adulthood,
Oh,
or
yeah.
you know, or
Teenage to
to adulthood. The transitions by nature come as crisis. You got transitions, even transitioning from maybe singlehood to marriage. The wedding day in itself
Yeah.
is a whole crisis in itself.
Yes.
Many marriages are just drama. You know, it's the nature of life.
Yeah.
And eventually, when we exit this earth to transition to eternity,
Yeah.
that death is a crisis, but in itself is transition. So for me, I would say transitions are more of convictions than convenience. Because if you wait for convenience, sometimes you may be stuck in a phase where you need to move. Look at the story of the Israelites.
Yes.
There was a time to go to Egypt.
Yeah.
But then there was a time to leave Egypt because it's no longer convenient.
Oh, yeah.
You are now, so to say, the grace is not there. It's no longer convenient. Things, you know, there comes a king who doesn't know Joseph. So for me, I would say, I think let there be conviction as opposed to convenience. Sometimes it's convenient because we are running away from problems.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's convenient because we don't want to deal with issues. Sometimes it's convenient because we are also expedient. We have seen a better deal somewhere. I've seen a new church which has started, and here I was just a volunteer. There they want to pay me. So it's convenient for me. But is it conviction? Conviction means you are in alignment with the will of God. That's conviction. Yes.
Awesome. I mean, we are having a discussion about some of the things that leadership in the urban church setting, some of the challenges, some of the dynamics that leadership in the urban setting portends. And would like to hear from you. Give us your thoughts. Give us your feedback. If you have any questions, you could be able to just ask them. Go to our socials. That's on Elevate, Facebook or YouTube, and we'll be able to, we'll be happy to read them and look at them even as we engage. We want to invite you in the interaction and engagement. And so I would be happy to be able to hear from you as we continue with this conversation. And so, that's one of the many other myriad challenges that, that urban church leadership has. Not to go back so much to what we have been discussing before, what are some of the other unique challenges that, differentiate the urban setting from the village setting?
I think one that is quite evident is the aspect of so to say, new family dynamics. And this is how I look at it. Many families in the rural context or the village setup would have close family associates living closer to them. In other words, many families live with extended families.
Yes.
Your extended, your grandpa, your uncles and aunties will not be far.
Yeah.
In other words, there's additional support
Yes.
for families.
Yes.
But the urban context is different. You discover when people move to the city, they are not moving with their mother, their uncles and whatever. They find themselves as new people in the city.
Yes.
And so we are looking at this, it poses a few challenges. One, you're looking at a new marriage and new couples that are settling. When they go through different seasons of life, maybe they're even having their own marriage crisis.
Yeah.
In the urban context, there will be an uncle to come and engage and try bring some
In the
sobriety.
village context.
In the village context.
Yes.
There will be additional support from maybe the parents or other people in times of challenges, so to say.
Yeah.
But the urban context is different. It even now becomes more real to the church when people go through the normal challenges of life. For example, a family goes through bereavement.
Yeah.
When they're in an urban context, that is the burden 100% of the church. If it's in the rural setup, the uncles will be there, the extended family will be there. So sometimes even the financial burden and the weight is not as heavy. And even the emotional, the family will come hang around and console and support the family in case there's a bereavement, in case there's hospitalization, in case also good times like weddings. So I'm saying when we go through what you call the natural occurrences and happenings of life, in the village context, the support system is wider and larger, as opposed to the urban context where you are living in an apartment by yourselves, and now the church has to shoulder much of that responsibility. I've been in cases where I've seen families go through bereavement, and literally that becomes a church project. Whether you want it or not, you have to know in some cases how to take the body all the way to up country. You have to know who will be there today to help that family, who will walk with them in this season. So, and you discover that especially for younger ministries, it can be very strenuous when you've got one bereavement here, another bereavement there, you've got a hospitalization, because the support system is limited, as opposed to a village context or a rural setup where people have additional family support. They are not heavily dependent on the church. But in the urban context, the church has to shoulder much of the responsibility, because also there is that perception of the people in the rural areas. They are in the city. They are making it there. So they'll sort that. Let them help us. In fact, I've heard of committees that are formed in rural areas, and then their work is to ask for monies from the committees in town to feed the people in the village. So the urban context ends up supporting the village in the name of you're in the city, you're in the where things are happening. And many times the church feels the burden and the obligation to support families during these tough seasons, because the family's support is limited, or the extended family may not be living them. That becomes also a new dynamics in the urban context.
And so to a pastor who is in that kind of space where there is the competing need for ministry expense vis-a-vis welfare, how do you balance?
It's a very controversial thing, and to be honest, there are people who have left churches because they felt, the word is felt here, that the church did not stand with them properly in their seasons of need. And so many people judge the church based on their seasons of need or those welfare moments. So I think for me the reality is this. One, you can never really meet all the needs. It's important, one, for a church to have a structure. Let's have a structure before even these things happen. How do we deal with welfare matters? Because those things are very prevalent, especially in the urban context. How do we deal with a crisis of maybe there's an accident, there's an emergency, there's a hospitalization, someone needs to pay dowry. Does someone bring us the bill and say, can you know how you're going to pay for my wife? Dowry. So you need to have a system, because one, you risk, one of the issues that I see that comes is the aspect of precedence. If you set a wrong precedence, and you are seen to have attended more to one situation than the other, you are creating a problem. So it is good to have a structure that is withdrawn sometimes from the pastor. Let there be a committee, let there be an elders, let there be a council that attends to compassion and welfare matters.
And that's where now the aspect of what do you call it? A church being run by a single individual becomes a crisis. Because now you don't have a structure. But when you have a structure, you can come up with policy.
And also you'll drop balls. If everything is so centralized, you will miss some things. Someone may be hospitalized for 2 weeks in your church. You don't even know. And you don't understand. But if you have good systems, for example, you have compassion ministry, you have a welfare system, or you have structured your, so to say, home cells or home groups in a way that there is a way people can be, the
information
home group,
can flow from.
The home group becomes an extension of the pastoral ministry. You understand? And so you're able to cascade down or upscale matters that need attention. And so you know how to attend to such. So for me, the way to deal with welfare matters and compassion matters is to have a structure. That's important. The other thing is be realistic. For example, it's January. There will be a lot of compassion needs for scholarship. Are you able, within the budget of the church, to do scholarship? Let it be clear. We are not able to do scholarship. And let it be clear. If you're doing your wedding, how do we come in as a church? I remember one time I was leading a ministry, and of course, I remember the couple was going through financial challenges. They needed to do the wedding.
Yeah.
And I think, of course, as a pastor, you've taken these people through the, what you call premarital counseling. You've even offered the church facility. We are not going to charge. You're trying to subsidize and help all this. But I remember a couple one time who wrote to me and says, so how is the church helping? And I know there are pastors who've been asked those questions.
Yes.
And I sat there and I said, we've been walking this journey with you. I know it's a crisis, it's a crunch moment, but that's a reality. If there are no structures, and also be realistic. Be clear with members.
Yeah.
We don't pay dowry for you. We will do the wedding,
yes,
but dowry is your responsibility.
Yeah.
Let people know, create your own relationships in the church.
I like what you're saying. So in other words, the leadership, the leader or the pastor or the leadership in the church within the urban setting should avoid assumptions.
Exactly.
Because that's what brings us into some of these crises.
Exactly.
And I want us to push a particular conversation around there just to try and see, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works, just to try and ask ourselves questions around those issues. But for now, we want to take a short break. And like I said earlier, we welcome your feedback. We welcome your thoughts. We welcome your comments and also your questions around the dynamics and the challenges of leadership, church leadership in the urban setting. So see you in a moment. Stay tuned.
A divine appointment is here. Apostle David Juma, together with the Kariobangi North pastors, invites you to the Festival of Hope Crusade.
Hawa ni watumishi wa Mungu, tuwakaribisha katika crusade ya tumaini ambayo inaingia hapa Kariobangi North.
So much excited to invite you to Festival of Hope 2026.
A powerful gathering of worship, the word, healing, and salvation.
Come with the blind, come with the lame. We believe the anointing that will operate in that place will heal the sick.
Come, listen to the word of God and receive Jesus.
Mlete wagonjwa, mlete wale waliodhoofika.
Featuring evangelist John 𝗪𝗏 from the Netherlands and other anointed servants of God. Music by Street Praise and All Churches Mass Choir, among others.
Utabarikiwa jinsi hujawahi ona kwa maisha yako. Welcome all, hata watoto.
This is the time for Kariobangi to heal, to change and to transform.
Come, we encounter the Lord in a mighty way.
From Thursday 5th to Sunday 8th February 2026, 4 p.m. daily, plus a special pastors and leaders seminar 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Wednesday to Friday. And women and youth meeting on Saturday 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m.
Vijana tukuje to represent God to the fullest.
Come to jinsi ulivyo, God anakuhitaji.
Let's attend as we turn this city upside down.
Dini yetu tujitokeze.
Moja muone Mungu akifanya mambo makuu.
Venue Kariobangi North, next to the police station.
Wewe mwenye uko Darfur, Gedhembe, Kanyama, Hillstone,
Korogocho, Bright Industry, Takisama.
Imekaribishwa watu wote wa Nairobi. Karibu kwa hiyo crusade.
Tukutane mahali pale.
Don't miss to come.
Come one, come all.
We'll be happy to have you around.
Na msikose.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned. This is Morning Digest Show, where we discuss leadership matters. I'm your host, Reverend Albert Shitakwa, and I am honored today to have Pastor Zach Mwangi with us, taking us through the conversation on the dynamic and challenges of church leadership in the urban setting. And we have had an interesting conversation just touching on a few things that constitute some of the unique challenges that church goes through within the urban setting. And, like I've encouraged you, we would be happy to just read your feedback and your questions if you have any, and comments. So I want to encourage you to engage and participate in the conversation. And so thank you so much, Reverend Stanley Amukoa. I can see you here. And I have a question here from someone saying, in the context of volunteering transition towards remuneration, I believe, what would be the guardrails to ensure we don't deviate and go to the other extreme of must pay, then serve? What would be the challenge of having to pay for people to serve?
Thank you for that question. It's a very real issue.
Yes.
In the urban context. As I told you, you're dealing with people who are trying to make the most of every hour of their day.
Yes.
To ensure something comes in to keep them afloat in the city, and to keep them, to keep them active and productive and able to meet their bills, so to say.
Yes.
So if they need to take a lot of time and be in the church, then there is a feeling that I need to be compensated.
Yes.
There are a few factors that come at play here. One is the maturity of the believer. If how mature is this person? Are they able to understand, one, in my season of life, I'm able to meet my obligations, and I understand my calling. I can offer my volunteer services because God has blessed me in other ways. There is those contexts where someone feels, in this season of life, God has blessed me. I don't think I really need to be supported. I can serve as a volunteer. There is another aspect where the need is real. You may find a young person who is not yet employed, doesn't have a way of income, but actually needs even transport to come and be the sound person, needs even to be facilitated to come and serve in the worship team, so to say, or be the sound, the keys, or the play the band. So I think the question there becomes, how do you transition, assuming you have had volunteers? I think it's important to be very clear. I've always been very, very careful not to say, one, let's be clear, you can never be paid, whether you've been a full-time minister. No one can ever pay you fully for God's work. Let that be clear, that God rewards differently. However, a ministry can appreciate you, and the ministry can facilitate you. Facilitation is meant to make sure that you're able to be on time, because if the church expects me at 7 a.m., I might say, sometimes I struggle, I'm not able to, and I am playing a critical role. So the ministry may think, let's facilitate this person so there's smooth running of the ministry. Maybe there's a caretaker who needs to be on the ground. There's someone who needs to come up early and set up the sound equipment and what have you. So to me, I look at it in two ways: facilitation and appreciation. As the ministry stabilizes, there's a level the ministry comes, it becomes very critical to have full-time people in that roles. It could be maybe you're running an international ministry, you're running a TV broadcast. You cannot rely on volunteer when you have a schedule. You are maybe running a TV station and you have people who are paying for adverts and whatever. You cannot be chancing that someone will come and be the coordinator. You have to have, as the ministry becomes more established, the ministry also may have the financial muscle to fully, So there are many factors. The season of life of the volunteer, the season of life of the ministry
itself.
Because imagining it's a new church plant, they are actually first dealing with the basics. Let's first pay for the venue, let's pay for the caretaker, we are hiring equipment, we are hiring a few things. Even for the service to learn, to be able to be efficient and effective, there are basic needs that need to be in place. So I think the aspect of what season are you in as a ministry is very critical. As you transition people, for me, start with appreciation and facilitation. That should be the bottom line. Don't throw the aspect of, and deal with individual cases. You may have a whole team where some people are able to support themselves. Others may need facilitation. It should not be a rule that this is the allowance.
For anyone doing this,
for anyone appearing as an usher, this is the allowance of 2 hours. If you do 2 services, you add the allowance. You understand? It will become very interesting because, as I said, at the end of the day, it's kingdom service. God rewards us. We are not in any way. This should not be construed to mean that people should be taken advantage of or misused or abused, for that matter. There's need to be objective. I think for me, judge every case in its merit. Every case will have its own merit.
And that's for the leader, but also for the individual concerned. You're also saying that they should be able to be sensitive to the season the ministry is in.
True.
one of the things I've noticed in the argument that comes is that pastors are living large, and yet the guys who are serving with them, you know, and that becomes the basis, and that becomes the basis of this challenge.
Exactly. I hear you.
What do you say to that?
I hear you. I think there's cases where people feel some are enjoying the kingdom, others are enduring for the kingdom, but they are all serving in the same platform. I think truth be said, we've had a few misrepresentations, even from us ministers, from the pulpit. If I stand there and tell people how many holidays I'm going and how I can't fly cattle class, I have to sit in first class, and my members are sitting there who haven't paid, or my volunteers haven't paid their rent of 3,000, they will struggle to connect with me. For me, this is where the aspect of authenticity and transparency comes in place. People should be able to know, when we have finances, how are we structured financially? How do we deal? How do we, how do we expend our resources? When finances come through, do people see the structure? Are people able to get an update? Where are we at? What are we doing? Is there transparency? So that the only voice speaking should not be that of the pastor. There should be other committees that affirm the voice of the pastor to say, yeah, that's where we are. We may not every time give a whole detailed list of this is what came on Sunday, this is what we are doing. Those details may not be necessary to the congregant. But I feel for the membership, for the leadership, there should be a level of transparency so that people are able to see these where resources are. But I think, to agree with you, there's been cases of abuse and sometimes misrepresentation where people feel they have really been used, and they never got the benefit, or they were not appreciated or facilitated, yet they invested so much. But in the same context, someone is living large. You understand? They are flying left, right, and center. They are staying in high-end hotels, having these fancy breakfast meetings. Too much expenditure spent on one office, pastor's office. Sometimes it's so to say, while maybe there are other important roles that feels neglected. And I think for me there comes the dichotomy of people feel which ministry is more important. Is the pastor's office the most critical budget? You know, there are a lot of dynamics. For me, what helps, let there be structures, let there be transparency, and I think let there be forthrightness to say, as a ministry, this is where we are, this is what we can able to do, this is where we are not able to do. Because the other problem that comes is false promises. You know, you tell people, don't worry, we are only suffering for now. Once we stabilize, we are all going to be okay. Then people begin to see you are the only one, life is changing as a leader, but they don't feel anything is changing. They are not growing with you. There's a disconnect for me. I think those dynamics are real, and I think it's good to look into that.
Yeah, because that's become quite one of those thorn in the flesh, or very critical nerve within the ministry, about remuneration, appreciation, whatever we are calling it. I think it's becoming quite a big issue, and especially pay to serve or serve to be appreciated, or whatever. It's becoming quite a big issue. I'm realizing the days of you know, sheer volunteership are gone.
Are gone. That's the truth. In the urban context, that's a gone case. In fact, if you want to retain the very, so to say, professional, whether you talk about your media people, whether you talk about the sound technicians, whether you talk about even your band or the lead vocalist, sometimes you may need to, you know, the trend. I'm not really sanctifying or something, you know. The trend is people feel there should be an appreciation if I'm serving this ministry, and I should feel some level of benefit. So I think it's true. It's true.
So I think for a leader in the urban setting, all things constant, I think you may just have to consider appreciation.
Exactly.
Whatever you can manage, but consider. For longevity.
Don't ignore it.
For longevity, for stability, for consistency, especially with things like bands within the church setting. And then now, of course, if you're able to employ staff as you grow, then I think that's something to consider.
That's true. That's important.
All right. Now, going back to what we were discussing before. let me just read a few comments here. Lewis Jumba is saying, create your own relationships in the church, and that is in reference to
benevolence, seasons of life.
Yes. Then there is Clara here, who is saying this conversation needs to be spread far and wide. Very informative. Thank you so much, guys, for your feedback. Keep them coming, even as we continue with this conversation. And so, going back to that issue of the church, the feeling that sometimes the church, especially in the urban center, there is that pressure on leadership. The need for the pastor or the church leadership to show support in times of need. How far is too far? How
short? It's a real issue, and it's a controversial issue.
Yes.
The subject of welfare and benevolence in the church. And as we said, there are people who judge the church based on how well they came through for me. I think the word they use is came through. They come through for me in my moments of need. And some people have had very different experiences. I think, as we mentioned earlier, consistency is important, because the aspect of precedence is critical. If you set a wrong precedence where you are seen to have done more for one and not for the other, it creates discord in the church. People feel the church was mobilized more to support this particular family in their season, and this one was not mobilized. Of course, there are always a few dynamics involved to it, but I think it's always good to be clear and have a structure and a system of doing it. But as you say, one, you may never really meet all the needs. By the way, the cases of benevolence are so real. We have scholarships issues, we've got emergencies, we've got medical, we've got bereavement. So one, have a structure and a policy that guides that, but also don't hide under the policy. Sometimes you can always say, according to our policy, you need to belong to a home cell. This guy was not in the home cell. So sometimes let God guide you. If someone was still a member, still young, still trying to learn their ropes around, don't stay away from it and say, I know there are churches where they say we need to look at the record of tithing.
Have you been tithing?
Do you serve in the church? So I think for me this needs to be handled with a lot of wisdom, because it can build or break both the church and even young believers. But as you say, it's a balancing act. Because sometimes the church feels we've done what we should have done, but on the other side, there's someone who feels the church did not come long enough. They didn't push it further. They didn't support me the way I thought they would do, and the way I'm committed, and the way I have been here for so long. So and so was supported this way. So it can take political angles. Those are the dynamics. Those are the realities. But I think when all is said and done, for the leadership to sit and feel that we did our best and we stuck to our policies and structures, that keeps you clear. What people choose to say and decide, it's up to them. And I think we've highlighted issues like weddings. Sometimes people feel the church should contribute to the budget. But that becomes controversial, because the church will say, the pastor may say, I'm offering to offer counseling for free. I'm offering to the venue for the church. I'm even officiating for free. You still find in this city churches where you have to book, you have to pay for counseling, you have to pay for officiating. Those are very real issues.
And by the way, when I've observed that when you give these things for free, the assumption is you haven't done anything, and so they are still expecting tangible liquid cash from the church, or some kind of monetary support from the church. How do you handle such an entitled person?
As I said, it's a very dicey situation, because if someone is entitled, you can never meet their demand. No matter what they do, they'll never be contented. As I said, one, have a standard way of approaching this matter. Then be very clear that the church will support in this way. We are offering our venue. Our grounds around here cost 100,000 a day. We'll offer that for free. So count that your venue budget, in your venue budget, the church will cater for that. However, the church may say, we'll offer the venue, but please facilitate the cleaning of the day, because you're going to use the venue.
Yes.
Organize how the church will be cleaned after the wedding or the event. Please make sure it is cleaned.
Yes.
There may come a situation also where the church may say, we are offering our instruments,
yes,
but the people, volunteers, will need some facilitation.
Yes.
So there has to be a clear communication on how far and what is the church offering,
yes,
and how are you meeting halfway with the church,
yes,
in this case, so to say. Because if you are not clear, people have a way of generalizing and throwing comments up and down, how the church did not come through, didn't support me in this season. Those things will always be there. When someone is entitled, you can never please them.
Yes.
But I think the church should always have a standard way of dealing with some of these matters.
A spanner in the works. Should we charge for some of these services, or should we keep them free?
I think I'll leave that to every church to decide. I don't want to go into that, because I know there are many dynamics.
Yes.
Right now, to buy the marriage book costs. I think the last time I checked was 20,000.
Yeah,
that was a while ago.
20,000.
20,000 just to buy the marriage book.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining for a young ministry to raise 20,000 for a marriage book. That's quite a tall order. The same argument may come. The members might say, we tithe. So the only time I need service from the church, why should they charge me? And I give my tithes monthly. You see? So there are different angles to this. I support this church. I'm a giver. We support this. So why are we charging for services? Sometimes there may be need to charge for different reasons. For example, I'm seeing a case study where a church is doing 2 weddings in one day. They're using the same venue.
Yes.
I know of churches which charge lateness fee. I know of churches which charge booking fees. Sometimes you need to charge to create seriousness. You may need to charge to create order. Because sometimes when money is involved, people become serious. But if I know the church venue is free, I may even tell the pastor the wedding is at 10, I pitch up at 2. It means the pastor cancelled the day, everyone else, the church cancelled that venue. Maybe the venue could have been used for other events, but they were all cancelled, all because we needed to attend to this event. But this person did not follow up with the same level of seriousness. They pitch up 3 hours later. And I know things can go wrong on some of the days, but there has to be some bottom lines. I wouldn't say charge or don't charge. I think let every church decide in their context. There are people who are, for example, renting their space. If they are renting, if maybe any additional use of the facility will incur more charges, there may be a discussion that may need to be done. There are people who may say, we own this facility. But then even if you own the facility, do we need to chip in terms of cleanup after the event? Do we need to chip in and bring the volunteer? You need to use our sound. We'll give you the sound for free, but facilitate the technicians. You see, the band may be available, but they need transport because you need them the whole day. They will be here the whole day. They are not normally here the whole day. The church doesn't need them every day. It's you who needs them for your event the whole day. So you have to look at it from both ends, and I think there has to be a genuine conversation and see how both parties help each other. But I think when there is entitlement, there'll always be challenge. You can never satisfy entitlement.
And that goes to the other question about, just to finish on the welfare thing, the other question about guys who expect support when they are bereaved, when they have something going on in their lives that is challenging, and they require the church to rally around them. Many times it's bereavement. But then specifically, how do you deal with that person who feels they are not supported, yet they themselves don't support others when they're in the same situation?
That's a real case, and I think those are interesting scenarios that happen. Earlier on, I mentioned it is important to create relationships in the church. By that I mean, don't be isolated. Be part of what's happening in the house. Belong. Be part of the family. If you are a youth, be part of the youth events. Create relationships there. Serve in the house if you can, and if you should. Everyone should be encouraged to serve. Be part of a team. Belong. Build relationships. I always view relationships as an investment. If you did not invest in a relationship, don't expect returns. However, I'm not saying that I'm doing this for you, I'm not scratching your back so that you scratch my back. I'm not coming to your wedding committee so that you come to my wedding committee. I think every help should be done genuinely, but I think people should also understand what goes around sometimes comes around.
The law of reciprocity.
The law of reciprocity. If you're not, so to say, supportive, if you're not present, if you're withdrawn, you don't associate, people don't even know you. When an announcement is made that so-and-so is about to marry, they're asking, who is that? No one knows you. So sometimes people will not be motivated because you have not taken the initiative to build relationships.
And I think at that point, let me just push it a little further in terms of asking, whose responsibility is it to build relationships? Is it the pastor to help you build relationships, or you are the one supposed to build relationships?
I don't want to hide under scripture. But there's a verse that says that know them that labor among you. You see?
Yeah.
And this is how I want to view it. There's two aspects of it.
Yeah.
A pastor will take initiative out of a pastoral heart to know their members, to try and guide and walk with them. But at the end of the day, the pastor can only come to the level the member allows them.
Yes.
I cannot be forcing myself as a man of God, as a pastor, to into your life. Many updates are happening in your life, but you don't feel at liberty to share. So your man of God is really has a blackout, doesn't know what's happening in your life. The only time they'll hear is when there is a crisis. When you get promotion, he doesn't know. When you get a new job, he doesn't know. But the day a distant cousin dies, that will be sent very quickly to the pastor. So I think there has to be balance. It has to be two-way.
Yes.
You see, so for me, build relationship with your pastor, and also this is the reality.
And I'm even talking about building the relationships within the congregation.
I think every member has a responsibility to take initiative and build relationships. Because look at the case scenario where a ministry is growing. Once a congregation hits 500, the pastor really can't know most of the people personally and closely. He may want, but it's impossible. That's why structures will help, home groups and other ways, departments. You understand? The pastoral ministry becomes an extension through other departments. But so I would say for me, the honors are on you as a member to take initiative, to belong and be part of that team. And as you serve, as you walk with people, as you are genuine to stand with people in their seasons of need, God will also send people, not necessarily those you helped, because the Bible says, blessed is he that gives, in this case, than he who receives. Because you are blessing, God will also send people to bless you, not necessarily the people you gave or the people you supported. So I think that should be the...
So in other words, your giving and your support should not be with strings attached.
Exactly. It should not be tagged or pegged on, I hope you come when you see my texts. Be the first one to do the necessary. So sometimes you will be shocked. God has a way of maturing you. The people you helped may never come through for you. But if you were very faithful, God will always raise other people to stand with you in your moment of need.
And finally on that one, coming to the pastor himself, because he's the leader of the congregation. Speak to a pastor who feels the pressure to be part of every committee, to be part of every, to contribute in every fundraising, you know, to be part of. How do you help, or how does that pastor behave with the demand of this growing congregation?
It reminds me of a few years ago when, you know, I was you know, just starting up on pastoral ministry and leading a congregation. And I remember members would come to me and give me their problems and even cry. Not to dismiss or look down on that, or to be cynical about it, but they would even cry and be very, very remorseful and be, you know, very, you know, express their pain and how they are suffering. And me, in my own limited resources, I would feel I need to help. But I discovered in 1 week, I have 3 or 4 cases that really need support. The reality is you can never meet all the needs, especially material, financial resources. You can never meet all the needs. So what I would say for me is that help where you can and how you can, but have structures to ensure that you know, cases don't fall in the gaps. You know, we don't have real cases that pass where we don't know. Someone loses a child, there's a bereavement, you don't even know about it. I think there should be a level where there is an extension of the pastoral ministry beyond you as a person and beyond your office. But I think as a pastor and as a leader, you have to wake up and accept the reality that one, you can't meet all the needs.
You're not the Messiah.
You're not the Messiah. You're not going to save them from all their needs. And sometimes all you may offer is prayer. Sometimes it's advice. Someone has just been retrenched, they have lost their job. You may sit down with them and say, okay, in this phase of life, what do we need to do? Do we need to scale down? Do we need to shift a few things here? Do we need to make some adjustment in your life? Sometimes the advice is what you need to give more than be a Messiah and try to solve all their problems, because you're going to be exhausted. You remember Moses? Moses tried to sit down and solve all the Jethro. I think the wisdom there of the father-in-law should help us, because he said, this will kill you. You will die. Your finances will die. Your own family will be neglected because you're meeting other people's needs. So you can only go as much. You know, you can only go as much as an individual. That's the reality.
Awesome. Let me look at a few more comments here. Okay, this is urbanization is bringing a lot of changes on how we are doing church. The mentality of mega church is slowly coming to an end. What would be your opinion on how she needs to handle a growing congregation but still be able to serve each member? Like the statement says, as the church grows bigger, she needs to grow smaller. I like using that statement a lot. What do you say to this question about the mentality of mega church slowly coming to an end? What would be your opinion on how the church needs to handle a growing congregation but still serve each member? And I think you've alluded to that a bit by talking about structure and talking about strengthening the home or small groups within the church.
That's true. I think I agree with you. That's the way to go about it. But also let's be clear that there's nothing wrong with a big church. There's nothing evil being mega, as it were. You know, nothing wrong. So for me, if it's true that Paul planted, Apollos watered, God decides to bring the increase. I want to imagine the 3,000 people that God saved when Peter preached the first service. If all those guys joined the church, that was going to be a mega church. So there's nothing wrong.
Actually, the church started as a mega church.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with the church growing big. People should not always castigate and say, oh, mega churches, mega churches. God can grow you, and you can find yourself on the other side of the divide. So nothing wrong with growth if you're using the right approaches. You are building steadily and consistently, and you're approaching all aspects of growth, you know, as you grow. Nothing wrong with growth. But as we said, you grow smaller by having small groups, having more structures, having, you know, ensuring that things don't fall in the cracks, and you don't drop balls along the way.
Pastor Alice Elandi here is saying, great discussion, learning and being built. So I see you all. I really want to appreciate each one of you for just joining the discussion and being part of this interesting discussion. I think we can't exhaust it in an hour, and we will have to put a pause and look at this at another time, even as we continue engaging on some of the challenges or dynamic situations that the church leadership in the urban setting, you know, comes with. And so, as we bring this to a close, what would be your parting shot? Because our time is up for now, but we will be able to pick this another time. What's your parting shot?
I think for me, I would say, whether God calls you to the village, whether God calls you to remote areas, whether God calls you to the urban context, where God leads, He provides. And grow where God plants you. Don't engineer, don't compare, don't look down on yourself. Where you are, be faithful, and God will bless and build you.
Awesome. Grow where God has planted you. Don't engineer, don't compare. And that one we must emphasize. Don't compare, don't engineer, just be faithful. That's a good place to end this show today. Thank you so much for being part of this show. Thank you so much, Rev, for being here. God bless you richly. See you next week. Same time, same place.